When did you become first involved with Vice Kids?
I first became involved in Valley's Kids when I was 7 years old. I think I was in after school club, and I moved into Penygraig at age of 6, 7. Didn't really know anyone, and one girl, Jess, who was like my buddy in school because it was like a new system, was like, "Oh, come down to bike club," and I was like, "What's bike club?" So I went to bike club. I went to after school club, and then I just very much fell in love with the place and got to explore all the different routes of Valley's Kids.
So did you do anything else with Vice Kids? Did you become a volunteer or anything?
Yeah, so I remember walking home one day around the back of bike club, and Jono was sat on the metal steps, and I was with Jess, and he was like, "Oh, girls, do you like drama?" And we were like, "Well, yeah, I think so." Come into the basement. And me and Jess were like, "The basement?" So we walk over to the basement and we do drama, and from there I pretty much did both things. I went to after school club, went to drama, then progressed through all the different levels of the drama groups and through play schemes, and so I became like a play volunteer in bike club while still doing my drama with artworks, now Sparc, and very much through all the ages just carried on every opportunity I had, just took it up, became a volunteer on the Sparc side, became a volunteer on play scheme side, and just lapped it all up as much as I could. Loved every experience.
Cool. So then how did you become employed then with Vice Kids?
So I think I was about 16, and at that point I really thought I love what the youth arts workers are doing. So I loved what Clay, Mirand, Jem, Ian, Tom were all doing, and I was like, what is that? So I started to dig down a little bit more into what that was and found out that it was applied theatre, and at 16 I was like, oh, there's nothing to do with applied theatre at this age, so I kind of had to go to college for a gap year, and then I studied applied theatre in Trinity St David, and qualified as an applied theatre practitioner. It was in the COVID year, so I was very much came home in COVID, just doing odd jobs here and there, and then I never thought it would happen, but a position came up in Sparc I think it was like the summer of 2021, and I applied for it, and I got the job in the December, and yeah, it was always the goal. It was always go to uni, get the degree, come back, wait for a job to open up, do everything else, wait for a job to open up, and I didn't expect it to happen that soon, but it did, and that's how I became employed.
Cool. So why is Valley's Kids important to you?
I think Valley's Kids is important to me because when I first moved into Penygraig, I didn't know anyone apart from one person who was like my buddy in school, and we became really close best friends, and it was her who introduced me to bike club, and that's where I think I just really started to find myself within my community, and that's where I kind of made friends with other girls in my school that maybe I wouldn't have got into at school, but I got into with a bike club, and that like helped transition the friendships over to school. It built my confidence. It was a place of escapism, you know. I'm not going to go too into it, but home life wasn't always the best, so going down to bike club and getting to spend a few hours running around and volunteering and just being able to do something else was a great escape. It was a second home from home. Never felt like I shouldn't be there, always felt like I was welcome there. Still am, never leave. And it was just, I think I honestly say this to everyone, and I've said it quite a few times to different people for these different kinds of things, that if I never got involved with Sparc and Valley's Kids, I don't think I would have been on the trajectory I am. I think I would have very much gone on a different path, that wouldn't have been such a healthy path. Yeah, and I think it just helped. It helped the experiences I went through, training I went through, working with such dedicated youth arts workers, play workers, volunteers, just really helped show me there was another way of how a community can be and how you should be as a person.
Why do you think Valley's Kids and Sparc is important in the communities that they're in?
So for me, the reason why I decided to be a youth arts worker, and to come back and work in my community was to re-offer all the opportunities I had as a young person to the new generation of young people. And when I say that, I mean, like, some people think, oh, just go into a weekly drama session or go into a play scheme or after school club is just something for the kids not to be doing anything. But actually, it creates a space where people are welcomed, where people are accepted for who they are, regardless of whatever. It creates the opportunities for different young people to interact with other different young people that they necessarily wouldn't interact with different adults they wouldn't necessarily interact with if they were just at home. And it creates the space for exciting challenges to happen, for you to be able to be steered into a different path, that maybe they can see you going down a wrong path and they try to help you get onto a better path. There's so many people that I worked with, that I was a young person with in Valley's Kids and Sparc, and a lot of those young people who are now adults would also say that if they hadn't been in Valley's Kids or Sparc, they also would have taken a very different route. And, you know, those young people, adults, very similar stories, very similar experiences, and a lot of us had conversations, and we look around at the people who maybe didn't have those experiences and can tell the drastic difference between where our lives have ended up. You know, some of the people have said they wouldn't have probably thought they would be a good parent, but come into Valley's Kids, come into Sparc, as giving them life skills that are beyond what school can give you in terms of being a better person. So I think that Valley's Kids and Sparc is important to the communities, because there's no judgment, there's acceptance of people, if there's something going wrong, there's advice, there's different routes they can offer you, not just you, your family, and there's a multi-approach. It's harder these days because we're so small, but back then there was so many multi-approaches to help someone get back on the right track. We still do that, but we're limited to different resources. But I definitely think that if Valley's Kids wasn't in the community, that all the communities that it's been in, that there would be a lot duller communities. There wouldn't be so much creativity and passion and, you know, change makers.